Well, hello, Talk Labor fans. This is Jerry Williams, and we're back. We're back broadcasting. Right now, we're broadcasting on podcast. We're actually podcasting, and we're going to do this simultaneously with our show. Right now, the show is under reconstruction, but we'll be back real soon. So, anyway, we want to keep you up to date with what's going on. What's going on right now is murder. And when I say murder, I'm talking about people at the Chicago Transit Authority. We're going to talk about labor. We're going to talk about all this good stuff. But the people at the Transit Authority in Chicago, these people have just come in and just took over everything that the union had built up for its workers. After retiring, I saw what was going on. First step that they did, you had credit unions on the property at the Chicago Transit Authority. First move they made to see if they can get away with it, and that was under Javier Perez, who was the international vice president on a trusteeship. He was the person that was handling that. They took away the credit unions. They told them they had to move off the property. I mean, those credit unions had been there for 75 years, but they told them to move off. African Americans had took over the credit union. They tried to run ads for police department credit unions, inviting our CTA people to come in and join the police and fire department's credit union. Thankfully, these guys stayed with their credit union, but this is the tactic that they were using. They tested to see how much and how far they can get away with some things that they shouldn't be doing. Well, most of everybody knows that they then went into the pension. They took total control of the pension. Now, get this, the union had control along with the CTA. They had what was called block votes, 5 for union, 5 for management. And in order to move anything, you had to have 3 votes from union and 3 votes from management. These guys went to Springfield, had the legislators to put in a bill to take away, first of all, a lot of their pension rights, and then take away their control of the votes. What I mean by that is, they said, well, we're going to change this up. We're going to have 5 and 5, and then we're going to have an independent person in case you have a tie. Now, they never had a problem with any such thing as a tie ever since the inception of the of the pension. But they decided they were going to do that anyway. What they did was they put a 5 and 5, like I said, and then they put an independent person. Now, the independent person came from the RTA. So how do you think this person was going to vote? He voted with management each and every time. This also gave more power to the trade unions. Now, get this. ATU Local 241, 10,000 members. ATU Local 308, 3,600 members. And then the trade unions with 200 members. Trade unions then come in and start voting with the company on every issue because they didn't have any skin in the game. They didn't have anybody to lose. So then they voted with the company. What they did was all the things that the company did. Now, the company did not make its contributions like it was supposed to. Legislators in Springfield passed a bill that said, I think it was in 2006, that said the Chicago Transit Authority had to pay $200 million a year into that pension until it became solvent. Then the CTA went to Springfield, got the legislators to pass a bill that forced the people to pay that bill, even though people were paying their contributions all the time. They forced the people to pay that bill. They started taking out healthcare trust on people who will never see the money. They will never see the money. And then they started taking out premiums on retirees who, when they retired, had to pay 0 for premiums. These people are at a flat salary. They didn't have a cost of living or anything like that on their pensions. But they did this. And they dared anybody to do anything about it. This was done under I'm sorry, let me take that back. This was done under Darrell Jefferson and Rick Harris. These two union guys signed off on that because they didn't know. And CTA took advantage of the fact that you have turnover in the union. You have new people coming in who don't know. Then, you have turnover again, and they have new people coming in that don't know, and they just continue to take advantage. That's not all they did. Then they started bringing people in from the city, allowing them to put maybe $50,000 into the plan. They hadn't put any money in there. And then give themselves $100,000 a year pension off of the people that actually put the money in the plan. Then they start charging people that had put money in, saying, well, you guys got to pay more, and this is, bottom line, and if you don't like it, so what? I'm trying to give you all of this because this is the way they come across. Now, the trade unions are a sick case. They were supposed to be unions. They are supposed to be union brothers and sisters. These guys voted with the company on every issue that was devastating to the ATUs. They act as if though they were appointed by these company people. And quiet as it kept, maybe they were. Maybe they were. The people got a big fight on their hands, and I certainly hope they're up for it. I certainly hope they're up for it. I had some ask me, Jerry, will you fight with us? Yes. Jerry, will you lead? I will definitely fight with you. But you got to fight too. You got to really show that you want to fight and preserve what you got. You cannot fight each other. You got to fight the source that's attacking you. So those are some of the things that we're going to be doing and talking about as this time go on. We're also going to be talking about what's going on in the state. You got a governor there, Bruce Rauner, who says that he wants to pass a petition that, limits, put time limits on terms. He says he wants to take over because the Democrats are holding it in their grasp. Thank God that the Democrats are holding it, because if you didn't, look what this man is doing. He's trying to turn Illinois into a Michigan. Thank God we got Democrats in there that fight, that won't let him have it. No, do Democrats do everything you want? No, but they damn sure protect your jobs. And that's what they're doing. You're going to have to get out there and support them. There's a lot that's going on. Just giving you my first broadcast or podcast. You'll be getting these once a week. You'll be getting them once a week. I'm going to keep you up to date on everything that's going on. On the lawsuit that we filed, as everybody know, we lost the active members portion of the lawsuit, but we did win the retiree portion, and that is people that retired before 2007. That's in progress right now. So what you're going to look for, instead of the Matthews case, you're going to look for the Williams case, because Matthews was with the active, they lost. Williams, Jerry Williams, which is myself, I represented the retirees. We did win at the Supreme Court. Now, people ask, well, what is the process? Here's the process. Some people think that the Supreme Court will say, okay, you win, give them all their money. That's not the way it works. Supreme Court, when we filed a suit, we filed it in circuit court. Circuit court ruled against us, all of us. We then appealed to the appellate court. The appellate court ruled in favor of the retirees, but they ruled against the actives. And what the appellate court said was, because the union signed off on it, this is why they ruled against the actives. But the union didn't represent the retirees, so they couldn't sign off on anything for the retiree. CTA then appealed it to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court ruled the same as the appellate court, that the retiree had a right to file the lawsuit. The circuit court initially said that we didn't have a right to file a suit. Supreme Court said, yes, we did. But they said that the actives did not, because the union signed off on it and signed it away. I still think that they ruled wrong when it comes to the active members. I really do. We had two judges out of the 7 that ruled with us. They were in the minority. They said the same thing we did. There was a Kenervy case. There were other cases identical to ours in the state, including the actives. How could you rule in favor of those and then rule against the actives? But they did that. This is where we are. My advice is to the young people at that property, do not let them take your money. Now, we're in the process of going back to get that for the retirees. When the Supreme Court ruled, that means that you got to go back down to the circuit court. The circuit court have to overturn its decision and rule in favor of the retirees. Now, once that's done, and you follow it by looking for the Jerry Williams, case. But once that's done, once they overturn it, then we get to set up how we are going to go about trying to get this money, how much everybody owes and how much they are owed, and going back and forth with the CTA. It's not going to take the time that it took. It took 8 years to get to this point. It won't take that type of time. The circuit court knows now that we did have a right to file it. We are covered under the Illinois State Constitution. It'll be ludicrous for them to rule any other way, but that's the way. That's where we are right now, and that should not take long. Even the CTA sent a letter out saying it'll probably be 2017 before you see anything. We don't know when it will be. They don't know when it will be. As soon as this gets done, we're in the process. I've met with the lawyers several times, and this is where we are right now. Okay. But you, young active people, do not give up your money. That's your money. When they take that healthcare trust out on you, you will never see that money. It's not going for your health care when you retire. That's the lie they tell. When you retire, you go right on to Medicare. So what happens to that money? We're going to talk about that again. But we just want to get this initial podcast out so that you can get an idea about where we're coming from. And you'll be able to reach me at talklabor@gmail.com. If you want to ask questions, go to your email and just type in talklabor@gmail.com. If you got questions, anything like that, hey, be happy to hear. We're gonna sign off today, but we got a lot of guests that's going to be with us and that's committed to be here. And I'm talking about big time people that you are very familiar with and that has a lot of information for you. We're going to stay with you as long as you want to fight. We're going to fight, and we know how to win. So stay with us, okay? This is Jerry Williams, and we're signing off at Talk Labor. Goodbye.